Hi everyone, I'm Bill Holcomb and thanks for joining me for this easy watercolor tutorial for beginners. It is a beautiful mountain landscape. Here is a list of materials I used and you will see there are only 3 colors needed for this painting. So please get comfortable and join me. Let's get painting. I start with my number 12 brush in some clear water in the sky area, purposefully leaving little gaps here and there. And I paint around the ridge, top ridge of the mountains. That's called negative painting, where we wish to leave something. It might be we want to leave it light, like a white paper, or it might be it's already been painted and we want to paint around it because there would be a juxtaposition of different colors and tones and values, etc. Then I've gone into the Windsor Blue and the mixture of Windsor Blue and Payne's Grey. I'm creating on purpose a dramatic sky. I think this is needed for this subject matter. I need a dark sky area behind the mountain. So the mountain pops forward, it pushes it forward, and it is our principal subject in any case. Then darken up here and there. We want that dramatic sky. We've got a strong wind pushing the clouds down towards the landscape, creating those shapes that we see. And always remember this will dry lighter. And so I've mopped up those edges and then use a hairdryer. And as always, my board is at a slope from top to bottom, about 25-30 degrees, block of wood at the top of my board. Then I've gone to a smaller brush for the mountain. I'm dropping in shadows here and there. You will have your own reference photo for that, where those shadows would occur, depending upon the direction of the sun at that time of day. And using a number 6 brush. And do remember that although I help you by mentioning the sizes of brushes, this is a Utrecht brush. It does vary according to the makes of brush. What is a number 6 brush in one make could be quite small than this and larger than this and so forth, but it's a guide. I have found the Utrecht brushes medium priced, do the job very well, last quite a long time, good value for money. That's why I use them quite often. The other brushes that I use are Pro Art, English make. I have used Pro Art for the last 50 years. And so what we are doing is building up a contrast. Okay, on the mountainside, we have the lights and the darks. So we have shadow on the right-hand side. I have sun from the left, so shadows casting. And then with your larger brush, something like your number 12, you could go to a mop brush if you wish. But number 12 will do because this size of paper is not too large. We've dropped in some green as a background underpainting green. Dried that off with a hairdryer and then go to a very small brush. You could use something like a 4 or a 2, depending upon how comfortable you feel with shaping up these trees. As long as it's got a nice fine point like this one has, you can see in the video that it's a nice fine point. Just think generally of those tree shapes, and this is a faint color of green, very light in value, because I want to give the impression that these particular trees are a little bit more distant, sort of in the middle ground area, because we will be doing some much darker trees for the foreground. And have them crossing each other here and there. Don't have them regimentally in a line with big gaps in between, and just looking like soldiers on the landscape. Just break it up and here and there join them together and so forth, as is true to nature in any case, and much more interesting. So using that light mixture for these, and there's some even smaller ones. Just think of the shapes. Um, use that left to right process of painting them in to break them up as much as possible, make them interesting. So make that as realistic as possible, broken up, branches crossing over each other, etc. Not in obvious defined lines. And that's quite a process to do these. But if you use something like your number 4, number 2 brush, whatever you've got with a nice point and some belly to it as a round, then you can use that scraping technique to paint in these trees, where we drag the brush across the paper, and bearing in mind that this is Arches 300-pound rough paper, so it does have a very good texture and it enables us to do things like the scraping technique. Now for the area of grassland, for this little valley area, I've got the Indian yellow, and the Indian yellow is a much more intense yellow compared to the Windsor yellow, which I've chosen on purpose. So lay down some of that yellow first, and then whilst it's wet, you've got your green colours. Start with the lighter one at the bottom, then go into the darker one. And just purposefully have gaps here and there, build up ridges, make it interesting, not all one bland value. And then with your smaller brush at this stage, after you've dried that off, you can decide that you want to darken different areas here and there for shadows, etc., on the distant mountain. And remember to do wet in wet, so you lay down some color time, and then you dip into water and fuse that to make it more realistic and more interesting as it is varied. This is a nice easy one for beginners. I think you should give this a go because it will help you learn various techniques, which is the whole objective of my tutorials in Let's Paint Watercolors, to explain the various techniques that you can apply to transparent watercolor in the English style, and then apply those techniques to your own masterpieces. You will make rapid progress if you choose to follow these examples and have a go at painting these. So we're getting very close to the end of this demonstration now. I hope you found it a useful tutorial and that you do have a go and that you look for the other ones that I have available. Now for the foreground area, I'm using that scraping technique again. Add in some interest to the grassy area and making sure that I leave gaps here and there. Scrape that across, and then what you can do is you can dip into some clear water, as I'm doing, run that along the bottom section of those edges of grass, and then whilst wet, to strengthen up the lightness, you can dip into your yellow wash and add that in again, all whilst wet, thus fusing these various colours together and giving a good variation. I hope you've enjoyed that. Look forward to seeing you next time.